picture-perfect night here in Greenville, North Carolina. Look at the sun setting at Johnson Stadium. We have the final game of the evening. The champions of the America East in Stony Brook taking on the at-large participant out of the Big Ten Conference, Ohio State. 14th trip to the NCAA tournament. Two programs very familiar with conference play, and into the next round, trying to advance into the second round of the tournament. Welcome inside the booth with Emily Busela, one of the head coaches here at ECU Athletics. Evan Budrovich getting you ready for the start of this matchup. Two teams do it very in different styles. Emily, what excites you most about tonight's matchup?
I'm excited for a pretty intense offensively powered game. Both of these teams have proven that so far this season, and that's what I'm looking forward to tonight.
Okay, Stony Brook's going to pull the upset tonight. They need balanced scoring, and it starts up top with Alyssa Francis, one of the top scorers in the America East. How does she get going?
I think she's going to need a little bit of help from her wingers in order to break through Ohio State's back four. They're pretty solid, so I think Stony Brook can, with their front three, break through together.
Francis on the first team All-America East Conference as a graduate transfer, as a senior, trying to finish out her career with an NCAA tournament win. And taking on an Ohio State Buckeye team, so much talent at 7-2-3 overall. It starts with the sophomore Emma Sears. How does she look to get the offense going tonight?
So Sears is just a very, I'm going to run through every tackle. I'm going to run as hard and as fast as I can at you. A pretty relentless player. So I think that's, you know, as long as she keeps that up tonight, she'll be pretty hard to handle.
Ohio State off a 4-10-4 season. A nice bounce back effort, doubling the win total. And now a win away from taking on Santa Clara this Saturday in the second round of the tournament. We'll have more from Greenville right after this quick break with First Touch coming up next here on ESPN3. Beautiful night in Johnson Stadium here in Greenville, North Carolina. Thank you for joining us for the final game of action here tonight in the first round. The Stony Brook Seawolves, a third trip to the NCAA tournament, taking on the Ohio State Buckeyes, their 14th appearance. And for the Stony Brook Seawolves, not only a great run in the America East, wins in 5 of their last 6 games with a shutout victory to end the conference tournament. Ohio State, a non-AQ, but finding their way into the tournament. Very competitive against the likes of Rutgers and Iowa, NCAA tournament teams this year. Tied for second in the Big Ten regular season. Stony Brook in the white tops tonight. Ohio State in those black jerseys. Numbers may be a bit tough to see tonight, so bear with us as we roll through this first half. The Buckeyes have been in this spot before. 2-time regular season champs in the Big Ten. Very experienced in the tournament, and Lori Walker-Hawk, the head coach of this program, knows how special this group can be and try to add to another run this year.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how these teams start the game off. You know, whether they settle into their style right away or whether they try to kind of go a bit more direct initially and catch the opponent kind of off guard. So we'll see how these two teams decide to start the game.
Stony Brook is top 40 in the country in scoring, just over 2 goals per contest. Ohio State just under 2 goals a game, but they've been very good in tight games. 1-0 games, a couple of draws in the regular season, 3 of them as well, all in Big Ten play. As the Buckeyes came up short against Rutgers, a dominant program, almost a national seed, in fact, in the Big Ten tournament. There's Tobias Bischoff. They call him Toby. Second year, back-to-back titles for Stony Brook. And more impressively, 4 titles in 4 years, including 2 championships at Hofstra the last couple of seasons. Certainly nice as a coach to bring that winning tradition across the Long Island from one program to the next and get Stony Brook back to the tournament.
It sure is. I mean, he's definitely been here before, so it's not like, you know, he's a newcomer to this environment.
These two coaches, plenty of experience at NCAA tournaments. And Ohio State, Lori Walker-Hawk, very experienced in this spot. I mean, you're not kidding the amount of years she's been to this tournament. 24 seasons, over 260 wins with that 14th tournament appearance. Of course, as a player, she won 4 national titles at North Carolina, and now as a coach, building on that with this program that's been a consistent winner.
It helps to have that experience of, hey, I've been here before in your shoes, and this is how it was done.
As a head coach, she loves to put her players in game-like situations. It emblems back to her North Carolina days, where that program won 4 straight national titles, one of 20 national titles for North Carolina, dominated the women's soccer program in the last couple of decades. Although it has been interesting, Emily, these last 5 to 6 years, the Pac-12 with 3 titles, both the SEC and the ACC collecting titles. The sport has shifted from North Carolina, who comes into this tournament as an ever-dangerous #2 seed.
I think North Carolina will always still be near the top, but, you know, the tables have turned a little bit, and the playing field's kind of evening out.
Here's Ohio State with a good flick to the back line. That is cleared out by Von Dragowski Katarina, the sophomore out of Germany, part of the all-tournament team in the America East. That's Peyton McNamara playing it back, and a long ball in for Fisher. Ohio State trying to strike early. Stony Brook's defense up to the challenge for the moment. There's a real tussle on the ground. Ohio State keeps possession.
Yeah, these two teams definitely aren't taking it easy initially. They're going after each other, which is great to see. That's
Izzy Rodriguez playing it back to Leah Barnett, the junior defender, 3rd team All Big Ten. Who's had a great second half to her year, getting it out in front to the Buckeyes. That's Kayla Fisher, the junior attacker, missing high.
It's not a bad half chance there. I mean, it's not a quality shot on goal, but, you know, you might as well take your chance early on.
There's Kayla Fisher in her 45th career game. Such an experienced junior out of Kent, Ohio. Buckeyes suffocating defensively. Any Stony Brook opportunity here in this first half. Seawolves 3-0 at home on the year, just 1-3 on the road in conference play. They'd love a neutral site victory tonight to take on number 11 Santa Clara this Saturday.
Well, whoever wins this game and advances to Saturday is going to feel like they have a home field advantage, since they're going to be returning right to this same field.
Bit of the collision in the middle of play as it gets cleared to this near side to Emma Beatty, a freshman defender who watches that go out of play. Only 4 freshmen on this roster for Stony Brook, 9 seniors, and this is the winningest senior class, the 2nd winningest class in program history. Capped off by back-to-back tournament appearances. Tobias Bischoff admitting he inherited a talented roster. He's just built on it these last 2 years, and we've seen the success, including 6 wins this year and a tournament berth. Ohio State trying to get on a run down the far flank.
This is how Sears can make some stuff happen on her own, just pushing the ball past people and powering through.
Emma Sears leads Ohio State in scoring with 14 points, including 6 goals, and now a corner kick for the Buckeyes. Here comes Izzy Rodriguez, the creator, the senior out of Canton, Michigan. Big Ten Defender of the Year, who has 10 career assists. Here she triggers. Looking back post, and that's out of play. One thing the Buckeyes do very well is scoring goals on assists or creating opportunities. 2nd in the Big Ten. Trying to create one right here. That header's flicked along and out of play off Chloe DeLizer, or my apologies, Chelsea DuPont from Stony Brook, the senior midfielder. This Buckeye team battle-tested 4 games against NCAA tournament foes. They're 1-2-1 in those matchups. Now a chance, deep shot, and the Buckeyes strike first.
You could tell that was coming right when McNamara got that ball and turned and faced the goal.
Ohio State, the early 1-0 lead in the first 8 minutes. What a strike by Peyton McNamara, the freshman of the year in the conference. And there's Rodriguez as well. Alyssa Bombick, a critical finish for the redshirt senior, her 6th career goal.
It was a nice composed finish in the box there. You know, she had to cut the ball against pressure and then just tucked it in the corner.
Resulted in an Ohio State throw. Buckeyes closed out the season with that loss to Rutgers in the Big South semifinals, but how about wins in 5 of their last 6 matches? And an early goal can really open up an offense for Ohio State.
On the flip side, it's pretty important to see how Stony Brook's going to respond these next few minutes.
That goes back to the keeper, Bailey Kalinsky, who does have 5 straight wins on her tab, including 3 shutouts in conference play. There's a dispossession by Stony Brook. Now Von Dragowski rolls it right to the keeper. How do the Seawolves maintain possession to try to get some critical chances on net?
I think they've got to do a little bit more with their movement off the ball in order to move Ohio State's players around to create those spaces. You know, if you don't move players, then there's not any different opportunities available to you.
Here's Kayla Fisher, streaking across midfield with speed. As Fisher tripped on her way, laying it ahead. A chance for Ohio State, and that's denied by Richmond Burke. And cleared out. Chase Rome tested defensively.
Ohio State's really finding some space on the flanks in their attacking third, and they're taking advantage of those moments.
Ball's played back in by Ohio State. Good spin of the turn by McNamara, swinging it outside. Great hesitation. The chip is in. Defended well by Stony Brook. That back line tested already. That was Kimmy Chafkin to knock it out. Izzy Rodriguez, a 2-year captain on defense, 4-time all-conference player. Such a special piece for Ohio State as this ball's knocked loose and almost a second chance. There's Emerson Richmond Burke, the sophomore of Seattle, Washington. Had 3 saves in each of the 2 America East playoff matchups, including a critical win over Binghamton, 1-0 to secure the title. They call Long Island Titletown, USA in the Northeast, with Hofstra and Stony Brook being great programs up there. And Coach Bischoff has the honors of winning the last 4 titles for that city. Rodriguez is dispossessed. Here's Florens. Rachel chips it in. Now Emma Beattie backs it out. Good footwork defensively by Talia Barnett. Stony Brook has been in this spots before. 3 come from behind wins in conference play, and they'll need a lot of this here. Giving up an 8th-minute goal to Bombick. Now the Buckeyes in space. Here's where the speed takes over. Ohio State going for a 2nd goal, and that is in. 2-0 in the blink of an eye on the finish by Emma Sears.
You can see Stony Brook's getting a little stretched there. There's a bit of a gap between their back line and their midfield, which allowed that space for this ball to be played through to Sears. And then from there, she just did what she does best.
Emma Sears, her 7th goal on the season. This is point blank on the keeper, beating Richmond Burke. And Ohio State has tested Stony Brook defensively. Coach Lori Walker-Hawk saying of Emma Sears, she's the top gun in terms of fitness. She loves to push her in practice. We saw that speed on full display.
She's just doing what she does best already in the first, 10, 15 minutes of this game.
A goal in the 12th minute puts Ohio State up 2-0 in the first half. Stony Brook averages 2 goals per night, so this is not out of hand just yet, but work to be done for the Seawolves. We lost 3-1 to Penn State in last year's tournament, and that drew a lot of respect from Ohio State.
Of course.
With a 1-0 lead at halftime in that matchup.
Of course. Anytime that, you have a like opponent, and not just any like opponent, a very quality like opponent, it kind of makes things a little bit more realistic.
Buckeyes trying to add on with McNamara turning for goal. This has been an onslaught of attack in the first 10+ minutes. Here's a juke in the box. Opportunity for goal, and just missing. Boy, Ohio State was ready to make it 3-0. Kayla Fisher, the junior, oh so dangerous in the box.
Well, you see this run, this diagonal run she makes across the back line is what starts it all. She's starting on the left side of the field, but she receives that ball all the way on the right side of the 18, and it's just hard to track players. When you're trying to pass a player on, that's when you lose track of people.
Ohio State's last tournament win was 5 years ago over Dayton. Might be looking for a big win tonight as the offense has been clicking early. Rodriguez from distance, and that's a clean dispossession. This gets played back to the keeper, Bailey Kalinsky, a 10-5 record in her career. Now a long ball up ahead. So much speed from the Buckeyes. Centered in, and Fisher nearly had it. It does draw a corner kick for Ohio State.
We'll see if they can put this one in a more dangerous spot than the last. There goes Fisher again with that diagonal run from the back post.
Kayla Fisher's relentless commitment to working on both sides of the ball is what Coach Lori Walker-Hawk loves about her junior striker. Here's Izzy Rodriguez in her 68th career game to put this ball in. And a nice play by Emerson Richmond Burke. Stony Brook goalkeeper, 6-3 on the year. She started every match, played every minute between the posts. Her season high allowed in goals is 3. That's been tested in this first half. Look at Fisher. Taking on 2 defenders, levels it into the box.
Trying to be unselfish there. She probably could have taken that herself, but
Kayla Fisher wanted a 10th career assist right here.
they just ran out of space to complete that pass.
The speedy run of Emma Sears was waiting for that pass just a bit in front of her. So it makes this Ohio State team dangerous. Multiple strikers that can put up 4 or 5 goals a season, including, of course, Emma Sears with her team high 7.
Yeah, you can't just stop one of them. You're going to have 2 others to deal with.
Buckeyes team that is red hot entering this tournament, wins in 5 of their last 6, and a lone loss. It's a very low scoring 1-0 game against Rutgers in the Big South tournament. Sorry, the Big Ten tournament. There was even a bit of angst for Lori Walker-Hawk coming into the week about whether her team would qualify. She knew as the 2nd-ranked team in the league, of course, Iowa winning as the automatic qualifier would get in. Penn State and Rutgers were in. She was not a guaranteed team in, so there was a huge team cake that the team had to celebrate. She was all in and celebrating with her team and enjoying the moment because there was no guarantee that the Buckeyes would get into the tournament.
Yeah, I mean, cake definitely makes things better, but anytime you get in and it's a situation like that, you don't take things for granted. They're here because they deserved it, and they want to make sure that people know that and remember that, and they're going to prove their point.
Here's Fanny Gustafson drawing a corner kick. Fanny has been clutch in her career. The game-winning goal against Binghamton, the America East title, and the lone goal for Stony Brook in last year's tournament. That was against Penn State. We asked Coach Tobias Bischoff, does she have the magic 8-ball of good charm? And he said she is our good luck charm this year, especially in big moments. Here's Von Dragowski on the corner. To the back post. And headed in.
Very dangerous ball right there.
Rachel Florenz puts Stony Brook on the board.
Set pieces are always a great chance to equalize. Regardless of how the flow of the game is going, set pieces can change the game.
One of the smallest players on the field at 5'4", able to sneak in that header. Look at the reaction here from Von Dragowski.
That was a great ball. I mean, that ball that she served in was just over the goalkeeper's head and out of reach. She just dropped it right on her teammate's head.
Stony Brook averages 2 assists per game. That's 35th best in the country. They show it right there with a perfect feed into the box. Okay, Emily, so a brand new game all of a sudden here.
Definitely.
We sit with 27 minutes left in the first half. What has changed from a Stony Brook perspective?
I mean, I think they have some hope and hopefully some momentum going into, the next few minutes, because as you saw after Ohio State's first goal, they kept the momentum going. So if Stony Brook can do the same thing, stay on the front foot, maybe get another corner or cause Ohio State to have to play the ball out and deep in their own half, that'll keep their kind of attacking firepower going here.
We asked Coach Tobias Bischoff, how do you scout a team like Ohio State? You don't have as many non-conference games, and he was telling us one thing, you could watch it on tape, but seeing it in person does take a minute or two to get adjusted, and it looks like Stony Brook is up to the task here midway through this first half.
It's always a bit difficult too, as a goalkeeper, when you haven't really faced anything for a while, and to be put in a situation, to face a corner kick, and the defenders, they've been in possession of the ball. They really haven't had to do a ton defensively. So, they've got to be able to flip that switch in those moments and stay tuned in.
First game in 11 days for Stony Brook. A similar time off for Ohio State. Their last game was April 11th. So both teams very well rested into this tournament. As the Stony Brook Seawolves responding, there's the head coach, Tobias Bischoff, who said, how do I stay calm during pregame? I had FaceTime with my 1-year-old daughter, Lily, back at home. Going to crack some jokes and make her have a fun smile watching her dad. I don't know if she'll ever remember it, but watching her dad compete in the NCAA tournament.
Well, I said cake makes everything better, but I'm sure your daughter also makes everything a lot better than cake.
I would argue apple pie a la mode is a nice little fix where you don't add as many calories to it.
Anything with ice cream.
Oh, man. Perfect night for soccer. We have a couple of good scoops of scores so far. 2-1 Ohio State. Buckeyes came out aggressive. They looked like a very good team with 2 early goals in the first 12 minutes. Great defense by Stony Brook. That's Kitty Jones-Black. Now the Buckeyes surging in the box and through. It's Bombick with her second of the evening.
Stony Brook really hasn't had much of an answer when Ohio State gets the ball wide. You saw it on the left side of the field initially. Their winger spins inside. Immediately the width comes on the right side of the field here. And again, Sears does her thing, drives to the end line, and just plays a perfect cutback ball.
Alyssa Bombick, who started her career at Florida, has really turned the table for Ohio State. 2 goals tonight, providing a nice spark for the Buckeyes. She had just 1 entering tonight's proceedings. And there was a conversation that Lori Walker-Hawk had with Alyssa, who a bunch of her senior teammates had graduated and moved on. She elected to return. There was a conversation of staying motivated, being a leader on this team, and Alyssa took that challenge on at the start of the year and has really grown since.
I mean, you can tell in the way she plays, too. It's pretty evident that she not only wants to be out there, but she wants to kind of take charge and put some stuff on her shoulders.
Wow, what a cross in. Nearly a fourth goal for Ohio State off the boot of Kayla Fisher. There's something special about the way Ohio State has been attacking the goal tonight. They've had no fear trying to score.
And you could say that that last goal was the easiest goal she'll ever score, a tap-in, but there's a lot more that goes into it than that. The timing of the run, you know, where she's starting from. You got to lose your defender, and then the actual finish itself, it's not as easy as it looks. So, yes, it was, you know, a tap-in, but the finish itself and the timing of the run is what made that a goal.
Trying to bend it like Fisher here at Johnson Stadium in Greenville, North Carolina. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Final game of the evening. Winner takes on number 11 Santa Clara, who's off to a 7-1 start in the West Coast Conference. Stony Brook with the service in. Pretty good one. Right at the keeper, Kalinske.
I think they're going to need to look a little bit more far post on those set pieces again. You know, you saw how they capitalized on their corner kick they had. This ball just isn't served far enough to that post. It's an easy catch for the goalkeeper.
Bailey Kalinske did not play. She was off the bench on that 2018 recent tournament team for Ohio State. Has started the last 2 years and now gets her moment in the tournament. And here come the Buckeyes with speed. Surging ahead towards the 18. Playing it out to Fisher. Kayla Fisher gets inside. Looks for a pass. And nearly had the intended target in Sears. The speed of Rodriguez is knocked out. Marissa Burzon as well. And the bodies just keep coming for Ohio State.
They do. I mean, they're definitely not going to let up. I think that goal that they conceded was a little bit of a wake-up call. You saw immediately they huddled together as a group, kind of got things back, and I think that they're just going to keep coming. They're not going to be satisfied with 3 goals.
This is the 14th appearance in NCAA tournament for Ohio State. 9 in the last 12 years. This program knows what it takes to win. Stony Brook can say much the same in terms of America East powers the last 3 years. That ball's knocked off the boot of Mari Brendan, the junior midfielder. Ohio State has pressed numbers forward all night. 3 goals in this first half. 2 from Alyssa Bombick and Emma Sears with her 7th of the year.
And to think there's been 4 goals already, and we're halfway through the first half.
You wanted fireworks after 8 o'clock. This is what we got going here in this first half. Both teams not afraid to score. Here's a long ball ahead. Alyssa Francis lost it for the moment, and that's cleared out of play. Now Francis, a Mac Hermann Trophy watch list striker, 36 career goals. She can be critical to get Stony Brook on the board.
Definitely, and you can tell that she's not letting up at all. She is chasing down every ball. She is always an option for her team in possession, whether she's checking 2 or she's, you know.
Ooh, dangerous header in the box is almost finished by Chelsea DuPont.
I think Stony Brook's way to kind of get back into this game is through these set pieces. I mean, you saw that throw in kind of started right off of that. So if they can kind of capitalize more on these set plays and these set pieces, then I think that's their way to start climbing the ladder.
That's a clean look for DuPont, but a lot of space to finish. Stony Brook's goal from Rachel Florens, a high header that she knocked in. Here comes Rachel tracking down this ball. Good chase by Bailey Kalinske. Both these teams will surrender goals. They each allow about 1 to 1.5 goals per night. So this is going to be a high-scoring affair, and we've definitely seen it in the first 25 minutes. NCAA soccer after dark. It is picking up here in this first half. DuPont fighting for space. Stony Brook keeping possession. We have a foul here on Ohio State.
Let's see if they can put this ball into a more dangerous spot than the last one. She can serve this a little bit more towards the back post. They can get players running across the goalkeeper.
David Ehrbacher is our lead official tonight, lead referee, keeping eyes in the middle of the pitch. There's Von Drogowski with the service. Nice and high. Headed towards goal and nearly snuck in.
It's a nice teaser ball. You saw initially, the goalkeeper wanted to come out and get it, and she changed her mind and said, that's not a ball that I can comfortably get. And that didn't miss by much.
Great tap off the back of the head of Alyssa Francis, who knows a thing or two about scoring goals. Third in the all-time scoring list in Stony Brook history. Stony Brook applying some high pressure and a foul this time. You do wonder at this pace tonight, Emily, can both these teams be afforded the chance to make this a 4-5 goal night? Who does that favor if it does start picking up in goals?
I think it favors Ohio State a little bit more than it would favor Stony Brook. But I do think that you'll see Ohio State try to slow the tempo of the game down a little bit. I think they're comfortable with the ball. They're not complacent by any means, but I think you'll see them maybe try to slow the game down a tiny bit, whereas Stony Brook, they're chasing. They've got to keep pushing the tempo.
It's a good touch by Anna Slang to fling it forward. Trying to connect on the long ball to Francis. And last touch by Stony Brook. Seawolves, the preseason favorites in the America East, run the table with a 4-1 regular season, get to host the conference tournament title, and nothing better than beating their rivals in Binghamton in the championship. Ohio State not afforded that opportunity. Lost to Rutgers 1-0 back on April 11th in Big Ten tournament play. Before the Iowa Hawkeyes came storming in and eventually beat Rutgers, got themselves a title over Wisconsin, and here they are in the second round of the tournament. Great ball in from Fisher and nearly converted.
She just didn't get a hold of that one enough.
The pressure on Izzy Rodriguez. That's a beautiful ball by Fisher.
You can see how stretched Stony Brook's back line is getting right now. Even their midfield, they're really just man marking some of these Buckeyes.
Stony Brook with a long ball out. Let's see who touched that last. It stays in play for the moment and quickly cleared. Here's Katarina von Drogowski, the sophomore defender out of Germany, to throw it in. She's the corner kick specialist who assisted on a goal tonight. Nearly had a second assist just about 10 minutes prior.
Let's go, Lloyd.
Stony Brook's third appearance in the NCAA tournament, yet to win a game at this level. 2 losses to Penn State in back-to-back tournaments, and a Big Ten team on the schedule again today. You're in Ohio State, whose last tournament win was 5 years ago against Dayton. Ohio State with numbers and space. Trying to find Bobbitt, giving her the hat trick. And there's Emerson Richmond Burke.
You can see in these transition moments, Ohio State's just a little bit quicker to get numbers forward and around the ball. Stony Brook needs to, transition a little bit quicker defensively to try to stop some of these attacks from actually becoming attacks.
Trying to connect with Fani Guttuson, the excellent striker for Stony Brook. Have not seen her much today. Alyssa Francis also up top. Dangerous scorer for the Seawolves that have been relatively quiet. It's a nice ball forward. Von Drogowski. Now Florens plays it wide and a bit off target. Couple of subs for each team late in this first half. including for Stony Brook. Aaron O'Connor, the senior attacker out of New York, checks in. It's Stony Brook's throw. Under 15 minutes remaining in this first half. Seawolves trying to add a first NCAA tournament win for this conference, the America East, in 10 years. Back when Boston University picked up a win in 2011. Ohio State looks none further than to Penn State, a recent national champion of 4 years prior for the Big Ten prowess. And to connect the dots, that tournament was right here in Cary, North Carolina, just a few years back, when they took down Duke 1-0 in the national championship game. Emily, who's your surprise team? I know obviously the Florida State, the UCLA's, the top dogs in this league, but who's a team that can make a run in this tournament?
That's a really good question. You know, I would say, oh gosh, I'll have to think about that. Surprise team.
When you think of the run that TCU's had this season out of the Big 12, is that a team? I know they're a 4 seed, so not necessarily a surprise.
Right. They don't surprise me. You know, they've been pretty impressive to watch. They don't surprise me necessarily. I would say, you know, I think Rice can maybe win another game or two.
Yeah, I mean, that huge win over Furman this afternoon. Rice has West Virginia coming up next.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
West Virginia's recent experience getting to the national championship game just 4 years ago. It'll be tough to stop Kayla Fisher if she keeps dominating the ball like she has tonight. Setting up Alyssa Bombick with 2 goals. She entered this match with just 5 career goals, and what a breakout effort for the redshirt senior. Certainly helps when she's the tallest player on the field by about 3 inches.
Yeah, that definitely helps. Ironically enough, though, the Seawolves are the ones who capitalize on a corner kick off a header, so height doesn't always matter.
Rachel Ferenz at about 5'5", knocks that ball into the back post. That made it 2-1 at the moment, and Ohio State came right back with Bombick again. This is a nice ball forward, kept alive by Stony Brook. Chelsea DuPont plays it back to Beatty, who chips it in. That second ball won by the Seawolves for the moment, now cleared. A risky touch. The closing speed of Ohio State has certainly been interesting and explosive to watch tonight.
Definitely. That's what's given them the edge.
Perfect one-touch played forward. Can Ohio State add on to the lead? Great touch defensively. Kimmy Shafkin saved the goal. I believe that's last touch by Ohio State. So Stony Brook to throw.
See the difference between, you know, that right there and the previous couple goals that they've scored is the goals they drove all the way to the end line. That shifts the defense and opens up those gaps to play that slotted ball just a little bit more. There wasn't big enough of a gap there to slot that ball in, although it was a good idea.
There's Nina LaFleur to throw it in, the Minneapolis, Minnesota product. Ohio State gets the angle. This is tapped out wide. Buckeyes also bringing in Chloe DeLizer, the freshman forward out of Marion, New York. She's on the top right corner as you're watching. Because it's not just us squinting our eyes, trying to check to make sure who's in and who's out, but we do want to make sure everyone knows what's going on tonight. This ball's headed back in the box dangerously. Stony Brook not much of a touch on it, and the Buckeyes clear. Now Anna Slang plays it forward and dispossessed quickly. Ohio State, after surrendering that first goal, they have locked in defensively. Emily, what has changed for the Buckeyes?
Well, they're doing a pretty good job of regaining possession quickly. They're not, sitting back and letting the Seawolves have the ball. They're trying to win the ball back as fast as they can.
Here's Fisher. Centering pass in, takes out her own defender. The Seawolves committing many numbers in the box to try to keep this a 2-goal difference as Bombic steps right in front of DuPont. Now DeLizer plays it ahead to the shooting Fisher. And that ball's kept in play. Busy first half for Emerson Richmond Burke, who came in with 3 shutouts, a .75 goals against average. Does have 3 saves despite the 3 goals allowed. Now a long ball searching ahead for Aaron O'Connor. And it's collected by Izzy Rodriguez, the 3-time all-conference defender in the Big Ten. This stays in. Here's the turn for goal. And nearly a second for Stony Brook.
I like how opportunistic they're being. They're not settling for the most perfect opportunity. They're taking advantage of moments that they have that can claw them back into this game.
That's Tatum Kauka on the shot, the junior out of Hawaii. The Buckeyes running with speed, and DeLizer dispossessed nicely from O'Connor. All of a sudden, we see Stony Brook with more possession late in this first half. Tough to do much on that cross. Buckeyes with 2 members on the Big Ten all-first team. Kayla Fisher, Izzy Rodriguez, both have been influential tonight. Especially Fisher setting up Bombic a couple of times for her 2 early goals. Good run by the Seawolves. Bodies in the 18, and the chip. Pretty dangerous service in there. This is Fonnie Gustafson trying to set up her teammates. Just nobody on the back end.
Yeah, they only had players running towards that near post. If they would have had someone running far post, they would have probably been able to tap that one in.
Fonnie Gustafson, a 3-time all-tournament selection in the America East. Big reason why this program's won 2 straight titles. A little hand checking. Let's play continue with 6 minutes left in this first half. Ohio State with 2 early goals in the first 12 minutes. That was the spark of life the Buckeyes needed. It's a tough play at midfield. The Buckeyes come out with it. Now a little one-touch to the outside of DeLizer. So much speed. The centering pass is perfect. Deflected back in play. And a 4-1 lead for the Buckeyes. Kitty Jones-Black, the defender out of Hawaii, able to finish.
Just like the play at the other end there, Stony Brook didn't have anyone on the back post offensively. They also didn't really have anyone on the back post here defensively. And, unfortunately, the goalkeeper almost had that. But once again, Ohio State taking advantage of the width.
Kitty Jones-Black, the beneficiary with that strike. Just her 8th career appearance, and here she is with her first goal on the season.
In an NCAA tournament game.
Keena Flotra gets tripped in the box. Play continues. Now the Seawolves want a long strike. That was Mari Brendan hitting bodies. Chip forward to Aaron O'Connor. Stony Brook needing offense late in this first half. So O'Connor shovels it in. The header is tapped back, but no one there to convert off the head of Kauka. It's fascinating to me, Emily, how open this game has been and how many chances both teams have had inside the 18.
Which is what I like to see. A lot of offensive opportunities.
Well, it's nice to have an attacking mid by my side here on the broadcast. Emily Bukala, one of the assistant coaches here at East Carolina. Evan Budrovich here with you, former youth soccer league goalkeeper. That's about my prep playing experience. Nonetheless, we are excited, delighted, all the adjectives you can drop in about working this game tonight and watching two teams be very aggressive offensively. Stony Brook pushing numbers forward, and speaking of pushing, Tatum Kauka with a little shove. This Ohio State defense, and outside of a win, 4-2 over Maryland, in the last 5 matches conceded just 1 goal. They've been sharp, and ever since allowing that first goal in the 18th minute to Florens, it's been great defensively. Look at Baumbeck. Roaming through the jungle, so much size and explosiveness. Gallivanting, in fact. Ohio State wants a 5th goal before halftime. Turning for goal. And dribbling it out for a corner was Megan Kammerdiner. Megan Kammerdiner out of South Riding, Virginia. 5 career goals for the redshirt senior. And she sets up the corner. I don't know if I can say it 3 times. Corner kick coming for the Buckeyes. The dangerous service to the back post and nearly had her target. And Ohio State concedes the throw.
Just a little too overhit on that one.
Well, that play was drawn up quite nicely to set up an open shooter. Just missed her target. Just a smidge for DeLizer. One of the top freshman recruits for Ohio State, who in the state of New York led the entire state in goals. 327 goals in her prep career.
That is a lot of goals.
You quantify that, that's over 80 goals per season in her prep career. Think about 15 to 20 games in the high school season. And that's a prolific scoring stretch. Back now to the keeper, Bailey Kalinsky, who's had a busy first half. 1 save and a couple of critical chances in front. Long cross by Barnett. The Buckeyes want a 5th goal yet again. And Stony Brook forced to clear it out. And Emily, even the pressure of Ohio State in these closing minutes, it's been relentless, foot on the pedal from the start of this match even to now.
It sure has, and I think the substitutions kind of helped with that a little bit. You know, anytime you have fresh legs, you have fresh energy, and you have players that are just, you know, they want to be out there and they want to continue to be out there. So they're going to prove whatever they need to.
Stony Brook pushing bodies forward as well with Richmond Burke to punch this out. She's the psychology major who has stepped up, filled the role of a 2-year starter in front of her shoes, and has filled the goalie position quite nicely for Toby Bischoff. Here comes Aaron O'Connor trying to get past the stout defense for Ohio State. The Buckeyes having none of it. Might take a lot more than these one-on-one drives to the outside to break down the likes of Izzy Rodriguez in this defense.
Oh, definitely. She's not a defender that is going to just let you get by her easily.
Named the Big Ten Defender of the Year, 4-time All-Conference. Just a handful of players in Ohio State history that can bestow those honors. Here's a turn from Kauka. Rachel Fiato able to sneak out of that one, but no possession for Stony Brook. Fiato, the 5-foot attacker. You see her running around trying to make life difficult for the Buckeyes. And she wins possession for Stony Brook. A throw in here with 15 seconds left in the half. DuPont plays it back. Chip in towards the keeper. And a nice snag by Bailey Kalinsky to close out half number 1. The Ohio State Buckeyes, a scoring spree here in the first half, a 4-1 lead over Stony Brook as we take a break after 45 minutes of action. The Buckeyes want to get back to the second round of the NCAA tournament. We will have more from Greenville after this break on ESPN3. Welcome back to Johnson Stadium here in Greenville, North Carolina. The second time in a month that Ohio State has scored 4 goals in a match. This in the first 45 minutes. A dominant offensive performance. And we check out the first half stats. Both teams with plenty of shots. It was Ohio State, though, converting on those shots on target to jump in front.
Yeah, definitely. And the way that they're getting those shots is through the width. That's really where the difference has been in these two teams attacking is Ohio State is using the width, and that is really stretching out the defense to kind of create those opportunities.
Alyssa Bombick and Emma Sears with goals from the starting lineup. Kitty Jones-Black, her first goal of the season off the bench. And Stony Brook takes advantage of the one corner kick, converting with a finish from Rachel Florens. Those are our stats from half number 1. That'll be plenty of numbers popping up in the second half as well. But when we come back, we'll talk about some highlights from the first half as Ohio State is cruising in the first 45 with a 4-1 lead. Halftime here in Greenville, North Carolina. Ohio State searching for an NCAA tournament win, moving on to the second round. They have set a new program record for most goals at an NCAA tournament match. A dominant first half was a roll of the highlights of Ohio State Stony Brook. Early on in the 8th minute, Alyssa Bombick got busy. There was her first goal, and then Emma Sears just dominating right here.
I mean, she runs through 4 players here, and just when one person thinks they have help coming, she kind of triples through them as well.
First goal of the match for Rachel Florens in the 18th minute. A spark of life for Stony Brook. And then Ohio State 2 minutes later comes back. Look at Bombick just sneaking through and poking that one in.
Yet again, that cross coming from the right side of the field there. Nice little icing on the cake there for that last goal for Ohio State.
Kitty Jones-Black pouring some sprinkles on a 4-goal performance for Ohio State. Buckeyes came into this tournament off a loss to Rutgers, a top 25 team. They have responded quite nicely here in the first round, with the winner taking on Santa Clara on Saturday. As of right now, it's the Buckeyes up 3. We will have the second half when we return here from Greenville on ESPN3. Welcome back to Johnson Stadium here in Greenville, North Carolina. Ohio State putting its foot down in the first half. 4 goals in the opening 45 minutes. They scored 4 goals just 2 matches ago against Maryland in the opening round of the Big Ten tournament. They have really amped it up in this half, and thanks in large part to the offense of Emma Sears, the sophomore forward who came in as the top scorer on the team, continued that here tonight.
Definitely, she did what she does best, which is get the ball and run hard, run fast, kind of create problems on her own.
And then Alyssa Bombick, 2 goals, a new career high, doing it sort of all by herself.
Yeah, I mean, she doubled her season goals already tonight in this game, and I'm sure she's looking to add on to that in the second half here.
Bombick knifing through the defense on that one, making it 3-1. And a player who has started the last 4 years, every single match. Been on the academic all-conference team multiple times. Just a team player for this unit. And gets the biscuit in the basket twice in this first half. Now the question is, if you're Stony Brook, how do you slow down this Ohio State offense that has been very prolific and has converted a lot of shots on target?
I think Stony Brook has to do a better job of getting numbers behind the ball quicker. Obviously, Ohio State is dangerous on the flanks, so if they can prevent and kind of force play centrally to where all of their numbers are and where their help is, that might help them.
Alyssa Bombeck with a breakout effort. Those 2 goals on 2 shots for the Florida transfer, whose younger sister, Christian, also on the program. There's a 5-year age gap between the two, and with an extra year in line, Bombeck now getting to play with her younger sister, and quite the delight to have those two together for Lori Walker-Hawk. Lori had also mentioned sort of the fun that Alyssa needed to find that reboot after coming back for a 5th year, finding her motivation, and she seemed as locked in as any night here today.
That's the kind of player that you want leading your team in these moments as well. Like, very experienced, someone who's clearly there and has been here before. So she's shown that tonight.
This is her 4th NCAA tournament appearance. Buckeyes bouncing back from a 4-win season in 2019. Sure helps to have 4 goals in the first round of the tournament. We have 45 minutes to play. There's Bombeck controlling midfield. Headed forward by Rodriguez.
You know, initially it doesn't look like either team has really changed up anything from the first half. We'll see as the game goes on if that happens. I would expect Stony Brook to try to switch some things up, whether it's formation or style of play. But doesn't look like right now they've done that.
Certainly the size of Ohio State has been very prominent tonight. The team that came in as an at-large selection, just one of the 19 programs allowed in outside of the non-AQs, and they have shown a reason why they deserve to be in this tournament, with a winner to take on Santa Clara this Saturday and a throw-in for the Buckeyes. Because as we've seen in this tournament early on across the entire state, the more motivated, the more focused clubs have typically won. Not always the most talented teams, and Ohio State has looked very locked in from the start.
Yeah, and because of how the NCAA tournament is happening this year, no one has a home field advantage. Everyone's on the road, and it's kind of evening out the playing field for every single team, regardless of ranking, etc. So, you kind of have that going for them as well.
Here's Emerson Richmond Burke to clear this ball out. Stony Brook Club, back-to-back America East champions. Now the back's against the wall early in the second half. The Buckeye program that has played with good pace. They've pushed the ball forward at many times. And thanks to a huge 2-goal effort from Alyssa Bombeck, have built a nice sizable lead. This ball sneaks through. Kayla Fisher attacks the post. Cuts into the middle. Fisher turns for a goal and just misses.
You can see her there act like she's about to pass the ball to her teammate, trying to catch those defenders, shifting over, and just takes it herself, barely misses wide.
Kayla Fisher wanted a 15th career goal and almost had it to start half number 2. Must be nice when the second leading scorer for Ohio State, who's top 10 in the conference, has yet to score tonight, yet the Buckeyes are cruising. Here's Emma Sears, the goal scorer by nature. Sears attracts a double, plays it in. Loose ball in the box. A turn for goal and just out. That results in a corner.
Once again, Sears doing what she does best. She's getting the ball out wide. She's looking to take players on. She's not settling to pass to a teammate. She's saying, I'm going to get behind you. I'm going to get a cross off.
A little bit of hand fighting in the box as well, and a good defensive recovery by Stony Brook. Another corner for Ohio State, their 4th of the evening. Off the hands of the keeper, Emerson Brook. Second chance chipped in. And Bombeck almost had her 3rd. Sweeper back for Ohio State to play this ball forward. That's Maddie Lowe. Sears is onside. Gets past her defender, chips to the back post, and hits the top of the bar.
She decided to take that one herself there again.
Results in a goal kick. And how about that service in? First it was a pass, then it turned to a pretty decent shot on target.
I'm sure she would have been fine with either a goal or an assist in that situation.
Emma Sears leads this team with 14 points. And she has been very involved tonight for sure. A goal and an assist for Sears. Here's Katarina Vondrogowski playing it ahead to Fanny Gustafson. Fanny with a dangerous chip that hit the defender. Stony Brook trying to maintain possession, is back to her feet now as Maddie Lowe. Rodriguez, tight defense on the spin from Florenz. And an easy play that time for Kalinsky. Bailey Kalinsky, a two-time sportsmanship award winner in the Big Ten. Not only great on the field, but highly respected among the league. And that's an added attribute for a goalkeeper, leadership, and also just a player people like and trust.
Definitely, especially considering how many minutes she plays. You know, she's a huge contributor on and off the field, and you need someone who can see everything that's going on to kind of be in that role.
And the right mentality when they start yelling at the defense not to turn on their goalkeeper, and that unity has certainly helped Ohio State this year to a 7-2-3 record. After that loss to Rutgers 2-1 on March 7th, Ohio State has been rolling points and results in 7 of the last 8 matches. This club is clicking at the right time as here's the throw in from Emma Beattie.
Yeah, with this season being different because of COVID, it's, you know, you don't have the same amount of games. Teams don't have, you know, the same type of schedule as they normally do. So it's harder to kind of find your rhythm and find your form. So like you said, finding this momentum at the right time going into the tournament, that's crucial.
Ohio State able to quell that opportunity from Stony Brook as the Buckeyes now have their eyes set on Santa Clara. You do wonder how minutes will start to be a factor late in this second half. And also, too, who can get involved next with Bombic, 2 surprising goals. We've seen Sears be more assertive in this half. Now Carrie Pearson. That's a strike near target. Just missing wide from the freshman.
Stony Brook's looking to take any chance they get, even if it is from 30 yards out.
Pearson, the All-America East rookie team, the freshman from Merrick, New York. Coach Bischoff building from the state, and also with his recruiting class, 5 freshmen from the Long Island, something you don't typically see for the Stony Brook program. Great header. Plays it forward to Burzon, who lobs it in. And that's cleared out defensively by Shafkin. Look at Rodriguez winning the ball in the air to herself and gets it right back. Great turn on the ball. This is DeLizer. Gets into the box, plays it middle. Sears on the touch. And Bombic, like a giraffe with those eyes, just opening up, waiting for a touch. She wanted to get that 3rd goal.
I don't blame her.
Because typically she's not a goal scorer, just 5 career goals, but has been more assertive in the middle, has been asking for the ball from Sears. And I bet as a player you feel that connection when you are scoring so well.
Of course. She's got a taste of it already this first half, and she said, I want some more.
2 goals tonight, and who knows how many more by the time we come to the end this evening. So Ohio State here on the free kick. They have set a new a new NCAA record for goals in a match, just with 4. Searching for a first tournament win since 2016. It has been quite a trip here over the last 5 years. Now Fani Gustafson plays it in and easily cleared out for the corner. This is where Stony Brook has been special. Goal on a corner kick already tonight.
Right, and they're mostly attacking and getting these corners through the left-hand side. So in these transition moments, how can they capitalize? This might be how they get another one back.
Katarina Vondrogowski, who has 5 career assists, added her 6th tonight, looks to serve this ball in. Promising ball in the box, punched away. Second chance chipped in. A third opportunity is cleared out. About as good a look as any for Stony Brook in this second half.
It was a very similar type of service as that one they scored on in the first half. It just wasn't quite as deep.
That header from Rachel Florenz made it 2-1 in favor of Ohio State. That was back in the 18th minute. Here's Alyssa Bombeck, who has dominated the field tonight. Ohio State controlling nearly 65% of the possession in that first half, and they've followed that trend here in the second as Sears is offside. Emma Sears with her first career hat trick against Wisconsin in a win earlier this year. Now trying to help Alyssa Bombeck get her first career hat trick.
McNamara has done a pretty good job of checking off that back line into the gap in between those midfielders, drawing these defenders out, and when she's getting the ball, she's facing up and trying to find her players wide.
Maddie Lowe shielding off the Stony Brook attack, literally walling off the opportunity from Alyssa Francis, and another prime example of how the size of Ohio State has been able to dominate the ball.
Definitely, they're just using their physical manpower in some of these situations.
Remember, Stony Brook the last 2 seasons has played Penn State in the first round of the tournament. A 7-0 loss in 18, but in 2019, a much more promising 3-1 decision and a huge confidence boost for Tobias Bischoff. Second-year head coach with back-to-back tournament titles here in the America East. He knows it can be done in terms of upsetting a big power, but it's going to take a much more stout defensive effort tonight.
They're also getting some, opportunistic opportunities, but they're half chances. They're not completely on goal. If they can look to create some chances on goal out of these transition moments, out of these set pieces, I think that'll help change the flow of the game a little bit as well.
Now some high pressure from Alyssa Francis, the first-team All-America East striker for Stony Brook. That's Maddie Lowe with a good service. In fact, it was so sharp, she hit her own player, Fisher, in the back. This one's cleared long. That is onside. The speed of Ohio State creating a chance off the top of the net.
I love the attitude of Fisher and Sears. Just they get the ball and they want to take players on.
There's Sears heading it forward. That duo has combined for 11 goals entering tonight. They add another each. There's a raise in the Big Ten, of course, with the automatic qualifier in Iowa, but 2 at-large teams in a field of just 19 of them have shown a strength as a conference. Here's Sears taking on 2 defenders and a nice clearance out defensively from Anna Slang.
Yeah, that was good cover that she provided there.
Big Ten with a win from Rutgers and Iowa early this week. That was yesterday. Big Ten Conference trying to move to 3-0 in the first weekend of tournament play. Does not get much easier for the Big Ten Conference. Games against UCLA, Clemson, and Santa Clara coming up on Friday and Saturday. As this ball's nearly struck in, that's Fisher.
Fisher's knocking on the door here in the second half. She's missed a couple, not by too much.
Kayla Fisher trying to pad the stat sheet here in the playoff run.
She tries to get that on target, just gets underneath it a little bit too much.
It was 4-1 at halftime. Ohio State has kept their foot on the pedal. It's a nice chip forward from Peyton McNamara, the freshman of the year in the Big Ten. Fisher testing the goalkeeper, Emerson Richmond Burke, who sends it long. Rodriguez shields off the attacking Seawolf, and it results in an Ohio State throw. How much confidence must it give to this Ohio State defense to have a 4-time all-conference defender, Rodriguez, captaining that unit?
I mean, anytime you have seniority in your back line, that brings confidence in and of itself. But anytime you have seniority plus captain plus these accolades that she has, I mean, that's a triple threat right there.
This was a dangerous ball, and as Emma Sears tried to add to it, it's a nice play by the keeper. A little over-the-top contact there from Maddie Lowe, the redshirt junior.
It's an opportunity for the Seawolves to get the ball in the box here and hopefully create some traffic.
This is where Stony Brook has had success on set pieces. Let's see what Kimmy Chafkin has drawn up. Chafkin goes short side. That's headed back, defended away by the Buckeyes, who committed 9 bodies back defensively. They're ready for that moment. Now a second chance in. Missing Francis. Gutterson tackled on her pass in, and it deflects out to the Buckeyes.
The Buckeyes are just doing a little bit of a better job winning these first and second balls on both ends. That's kind of what's making the difference in the box at the moment.
There's a nice ball ahead to Alyssa Francis. Trying to break down this Ohio State defense who commits 4 bodies back defensively, and they win the challenge. And Sears now in space. Look at that move. Sears just ripping past her defender. No chance for Von Dragowski. Sears is galloping through.
She is not quitting.
Like the older cousin and kicking and screaming. He's having himself a day in this second half. Here's a ball into the box and nearly converted as McNamara forces the corner. Then, of course, Bucky gets the game-winning goal in the championship match. But how about this look from the freshman?
Anytime you have a run that gets across that goalkeeper, it's going to create a dangerous situation.
Another corner for Ohio State. This is Kina Flotra, the freshman out of Norway. She is 3rd on the team in shots as she triggers up this corner. Busy evening for Emerson Richmond Burke, who did not play in the 2019 campaign but has been busy here tonight.
She sure has.
Thank you for joining us tonight from Johnson Stadium here in Greenville. Along with Emily Busela, Evan Budrovich with you for the final 27 minutes of this matchup between Ohio State, the 2nd-ranked team in the Big Ten in the regular season, against the America East champions, the Stony Brook Seawolves, back-to-back tournament titles. Winner of this game will take on Santa Clara out of the West Coast Conference on Saturday night. There's a good ball forward, searching for Emma Sears. The work rate of Sears has been fun to watch tonight, drawing another throw in and making life so difficult for Von Dragowski defensively.
Yeah, she doesn't matter. She doesn't care who has the ball. It doesn't matter what side of the ball she's on. She's going to put in maximum effort all the time.
That's definitely a younger sibling trait for Sears, who's been all over the field. Just a sophomore, such a talented piece with 3 years of eligibility left for Lori Walker-Hawk. There's an opportunity for Stony Brook as they check down this in the corner. That's a good clearance. Also kept it in play. Haley Kalinsky, just when you need her, she steps up for Ohio State. Buckeyes have taken over this match. Talia Barnett and this defense for Ohio State have locked in after allowing a corner kick header from Rachel Florens. Buckeyes now nearly doubling the shots, 18-10, with 7 shots on target. Kayla Fisher is dispossessed and gets it right back.
You got to love the fight of Stony Brook. You know, they're patiently waiting for Ohio State to get the ball into certain areas of the field so they can then press together. But again, as soon as they try to pounce, Ohio State wins the ball right back.
Here's Kayla Fisher blowing by one and can't get past 2. Anna Slang the stop as she gives it right back. Nice pass forward by Berzon. Here's Sears one-on-one. Von Dragowski having nightmares tonight, trying to stop Sears, who almost trickles it in. Emma Sears has been special tonight.
She was out on an island on that one, and she said, thank you very much.
Sears a bit slow to get up after this shot, but how about the look on the near side? That's calling your corner pocket and pull off the side of the rim, having it roll around. Very impressive on the deflection there for Von Dragowski. Seventh corner of the match for Ohio State. Easily cleared out. And a throw in for the Buckeyes. As it is saved. Great effort by Izzy Rodriguez. The Stony Brook senior class, the second winningest class ever in program history. 4 players on the first team all conference, including Fonnie Gutterson, who scored the game-winning goal in the American East title. A lot to look forward to for this 9-player senior class for Stony Brook here over the next 23 minutes. And Ohio State 20 minutes away from taking on number 11 Santa Clara in the second round on the side of the bracket, with Arkansas and UCLA in that top quadrant. That is off O'Connor, a throw to Ohio State.
You can see the wind starting to pick up a little bit as the night goes on. You wonder if Stony Brook will take that into their hands and say, let's play a little bit more direct. Let's hit a bigger ball. Let's use the wind behind us and see if we can put Ohio State on their heels.
That has been the challenge against the physical Ohio State team all night. Here's Kayla Fisher again, has been dominant on the ball. And Katarina Von Dragowski got it for the moment, loses it to Fisher. And a corner kick ensues.
Fisher is just so dangerous on the dribble. The pace at which she attacks with the ball at her foot, it's very hard to stop.
These 4 goals, the most Ohio State has ever scored in NCAA tournament history, dating back to 2002. Their first ever appearance. It's also been a long stretch, 3 straight losses in the tournament for Ohio State. Their last victory in 2016. That might all change tonight over the next 20 minutes. 8th corner kick for the Buckeyes is headed along and just over the top of the post. Talia Barnett nearly had it.
Well, that didn't miss by much.
Junior defender saw Bomba get involved in the action and wanted her turn from just outside the 6.
Definitely.
Emily, as a former attacking mid yourself, this seems like the type of night you would have loved to push forward numbers and try to add to your goal totals.
Oh, of course. Of course. But also as a defender, you know these set pieces are your chance to add to that. So I'm sure that's what they're looking for as well.
Berzon centers it in. That's a dangerous cross. Punched out by Richmond Burke. Ohio State gets it right back. And the Buckeyes sprinted full speed in the middle part of this field. They've been so tough to stop. Now Stony Brook gets a dispossession. There's the speed of O'Connor. And that's what's impressed me most. When Stony Brook tries to make a run, Ohio State has been immediately defensively winning those one-on-one battles and knocking the ball loose.
They're definitely taking a lot of pride in you know, it's 4-1. They've scored a lot of goals, but they're taking a lot of pride defensively and winning the ball back. And whatever they said after they conceded a goal has clearly seemed to work.
Bonnie Guttuson trying to get space, and that was a perfect seal-off. Having two captains on the back line, so important for Ohio State as this ball's played forward to McNamara. And a throw-in for the Buckeyes. Emily, how dangerous can this Ohio State team be, especially against Santa Clara, who's played a limited schedule? Very good club, obviously, but a new matchup for these two coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you can score 4 goals in one half, let alone in a game, you know, they still have a chance to add to that total, but that definitely shows that you have an opportunity to be dangerous, and you're not just relying on one person. Goals are coming from multiple areas, multiple players.
Here's a dangerous shot on target for Kayla Fisher. About everything she's touched has looked good tonight.
I'm sure as happy as she will be with winning this game, she still wants to score and add some more points to her total.
Kayla Fisher, an assist and 8 shots to lead all players tonight. That nearly matches the entire total of Stony Brook with 10 shots as a team. A huge goal from Rachel Florens in the 18th minute. That made it 2-1 Ohio State. The Buckeyes have added on a few others in the first half for critical insurance. Substitution now for the Buckeyes with 18.5 minutes to play. Kayla Fisher takes a break, would you imagine, for the rest of the match. And checking back in, number 6, Megan Kammerdiner. Barnett able to clear this ball out. Stony Brook with the wind at their backs. Can they take advantage in these final 18 minutes? And that pass sailed a bit away from Francis. Good tussle in the middle of the field. It's won by Stony Brook. Now played forward to Chelsea DuPont, who has it poke loose. And plays like that have been done by the Buckeyes all night long.
Yeah, they're doing a very good job of not giving up on the play, not giving up on the moment. You know, if they take a touch that didn't go where they wanted it to, or maybe the defender sticks a foot in there, like, they don't give up on the play. They stick with it, and they win the ball back.
Here's Mari Brendan funneling this ball forward for the speed of O'Connor, who sends it in. The Stony Brook team, 3 NCAA tournament appearances in the last 4 years. And you may look at this final score and wonder what could have been, but the Seawolves have done so much here in 2021. Just have had no answers for the dominant offense of the Buckeyes. There's a good start with Von Dragowski getting her foot in. Emerson Brook clears it into the Stars. Ohio State to throw 16 minutes from an NCAA tournament win. It's been 5 years since the Buckeyes last picked up a victory. The America East trying to repeat the original success of Hartford, who in 1999 reached the quarterfinals of the NCAA tournament. In '92, they went all the way to the College Cup, the Final Four Much more steep task here in modern college soccer, but always neat to recognize programs that have gone so far out of the mid-major level. Here's one more run for Ohio State, and that results in a corner.
And you got to love the pace at which both of these teams are still playing at. You know, we're late in the second half, but neither of them are letting up. These players are still putting everything out there.
This is Olivia Pettit on the corner. Dangerous ball in the box, and it snakes through. A new season high, 5 goals for the Buckeyes.
Well, with as many corner kicks as Ohio State has had, you had to think that they were going to finally put one of them in the back of the net.
A team goal on a dominant scoring night. Olivia Pettit getting much of the love for Ohio State as Lori Walker-Hawk watches her offense click once again on the set piece. The goal is credited to Megan Cammerdiner, a redshirt senior out of Virginia, and so much love and appreciation from her teammates after that header.
Well, she's the one that created that corner kick in the first place, so kind of comes full circle to her.
The circle of life here in the NCAA tournament. You giveth and taketh away on headers. Stony Brook searching for a late response as Barnett is having none of it, putting down her Mufasa-like chain on the defensive line. She gets fouled on the back end. A yellow card issued here to Stony Brook in the closing minutes on a dangerous tackle. Checking out the ankle there of Talia Barnett.
Let's hope she's just taking this to use a minute and gonna let her team catch their breath after that moment, rather than she needs that minute herself because she's injured.
You'd imagine as well, a substitution might be coming here soon with a game set on Saturday against Santa Clara. The Stony Brook have one last goal in them to close out this campaign, featuring 6 wins and a conference title. Always difficult for a preseason favorite to not only win the league in the regular season, but dominate in the tournament and capture a championship at home. Tobias Bischoff even reminding us that, yes, the first title was fantastic, but this year's title was even more special because of playing that role of the favorite and not being the underdog and able to win in dominant fashion.
Yeah, it puts a lot more pressure on you when you are expected to do all of these things. You know, you want to be in that position, you want to be the best, you want to stay at the top, but it definitely adds some pressure.
Pressure comes with privilege, and both these programs have lived up to it. Ohio State, a 14th ever trip to the NCAA tournament and well on its way to a 13th win in postseason play. Seawolves will come up short tonight, but represented the America East very proudly. And had this game at a 2-1 difference early in the first half. It was competitive until Ohio State and Alyssa Bombick really put this game out of reach.
Yeah, I think the Buckeyes got a little angry when they conceded that corner kick. I think they thought, you know, they should have done a couple things differently to not allow that to happen, and you've seen them tighten up defensively.
We also see a couple of subs set to check in here in the closing minutes for the Ohio State Buckeyes, helping the Big Ten move to a nice stout 3-0 start in tournament play. Rutgers, Iowa, and now Ohio State picking up critical wins here in the first weekend, and there's still plenty of time in this tournament. Of course, the likes of the ACC and the Pac-12 will be well represented, but I wouldn't sleep on Penn State either as a legit team that can make a run, with Vanderbilt coming up next on its schedule.
Well, there's still a lot of time left in this game, too, at the rate at which these teams have been scoring, so this might not be the final scoreline.
6 is the magic number right now. Goals scored here with 12 minutes to play. And Stony Brook pull one more trick out of the bag here to close out this second half. Guttison on the turn. Tried to find her escape valve and Pearson, and nothing came of it, but Stony Brook keeps possession. Here's Pearson again. Dribbling in to DuPont. Barnett, who recovered nicely from that slight tweak of her ankle, able to clear it out. It is up to the referee's discretion to bring in those substitutes. I think he'll wait till Ohio State wins possession. And a late foul here. Yellow card as well.
Another card here, yep.
And that's Aaron O'Connor with the contact. Last thing he wants, a ticky-tacky foul or any injuries here in the closing minutes. Nothing ill or harm meant on that. Here's Kitty Jones-Black, who had her first goal of the season. Kind of a late scramble play in the closing minutes of the first half. Her reaction for a first career goal was not as excited as one would have expected, but it made all the difference. 4-1 early.
I'm sure if it would have been, the first goal of the game, maybe she would have reacted a little differently, but either way, she's still pretty excited.
Kitty is one of 6 siblings from Hawaii, and they're proud to watch her tonight, the sophomore defender. Katarina von Drogowski on the service, 3-time All-America East selection. Puts in a nice service, middle of the box. And an easy scoop for this Ohio State defense with Bailey Kalinsky.
You have to think that might be one of her last saves or touches of the game. It looks like Ohio State is going to make a goalkeeper.
They might make a whole line change with players stacked up in front of that bench across the way. Ten minutes to play here in Greenville, North Carolina, as Ohio State, after a rocky start for both teams defensively, they have settled in and now are leading comfortably in the second half. Barnett gets tripped up from behind. Players from both teams ready to sub in. I'm surprised the head referee hasn't gone to those benches just yet. Trying to bring in Alyssa Bombig back in for a few more minutes, along with the backup goalkeeper, Micaiah Lipsy. Goalkeeper way out of her box, and Emerson Burke. Here's a chip on target. Does this ball have enough for the goal? And it just comes up short.
They almost had a little miscue back there. You saw the goalkeeper came out to get it herself, but her defender said, wait, I'm going to pass it back to you, and kind of put a little pace on that ball.
Ohio State wins possession. Here's Renee Ward playing it outside. A long run by the Buckeyes. DeLizer chips it in. And now we have our substitutions. How about this? First minutes of the season for the sophomore Micaiah Lipsy out of Southfield, Michigan. And Emily, a neat moment for any program, win, lose, or draw, how this game ends out, to get some players who don't typically get time to enter here in the biggest moment.
Of course, anytime you can get players experience, especially younger players that are potentially going to be filling big roles for you the following season, these are moments that carry a lot of weight for them. And the story will always be told 10 times bigger than what actually happened, right? So whether it's one save or one shot, oh, I faced 8 shots in the second half, and I made a diving penalty kick save. The stories all get exaggerated 20 years down the road, but it'll be a neat moment for the Lipsy family for sure. There's a nice ball into the box, but no one on target for it. And here's the list, the history. Micaiah will have her first goal kick coming up. First minutes of the season for the Southfield, Michigan goalkeeper, who plays it ahead to Barnett. Seven and a half minutes to play here in Greenville.
Stony Brook searching for a late goal. Brendan plays it near side to Von Drogowski, and a throw in for the Seawolves.
Well, they're definitely not conceding the game yet. You know, they're still pushing numbers forward and trying to attack with pace.
Katarina, part of the all-tournament championship team. Huge part of that championship run over Binghamton in the final. This ball's played to the back line of Stony Brook with Anna Slang. Chips it across to Kimmy Chafkin. And a nice ball forward, but O'Connor can't catch up to it. The senior class for Stony Brook, 3 championship game appearances in 4 years. Not an easy thing to do for this program. And one thing Tobias Bischoff reminded us, not only great players, but better people. And that's a huge reason why this program made it back to a championship game this year in the America East.
I mean, anytime you have seniors that are able to kind of leave a legacy behind them, both with what they've been able to do on the field and what they've been able to do from a culture standpoint, that just makes your program better in the future.
There's Tobias. Very kind and respectful coach. A great interview leading into this matchup. He's led an American East program to back-to-back titles and also 2 straight titles at Hofstra. So he's very familiar with getting to this NCAA level and proud of what his team and his players were able to accomplish this year.
This is kind of a tricky distance for a set piece because it's a little far for a shot, but at the same time, you know, there's not a ton of space in behind that back line to kind of chip the ball in there. So we'll see what they decide to do.
Also, a trio of players could possibly take this kick for Stony Brook. Von Drogowski, Chafkin, and Brendan.
Although with the new goalkeeper in goal, I think I'd take my chances.
Chafkin takes her shot, and a first career save for Micaiah Lipsy. There you go, Micaiah. 11 saves later on the night, at least as she recounts it to her kids down the road. But nice to see her get her first minutes of the season.
Little boost of confidence for sure.
Final 5 minutes here in the NCAA first round. Ohio State well on its way to a matchup with Santa Clara on Saturday. And the Big Ten off to a 3-0 start in the NCAA tournament. There's a long ball outside. Ohio State trying to add to this lead. As that shot is high and wide. Buckeyes now 9 shots on target. I know that one was a bit high, but 21 shots as a team. This is an offensive output that Lori Walker-Hawk must be pleased with.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, it's not a clean sheet on the other end, but 5 goals, you can't really complain about that. And from a multitude of players.
Renee Ward sends it outside. And a long pass goes out of play for Cameron. Olivia Pettit also getting quality minutes in this second half. The senior midfielder from the home state of Ohio for this Buckeye program. Ohio State relentless in that first half with 4 goals. They added a 5th midway through. And now a chance at 6 as that pass is tipped back to the keeper. Long ball up ahead to Stony Brook. Francis trying to stay on. Tussle in the corner. And Leah Fiato could not get to it.
It's a good little burst of speed there to keep that ball in play.
Wow, look at Bombic just hitting the B button on her controller, trying to bang through. And instead of throwing for Ohio State, because Alyssa Bombic, not only the biggest player on the field tonight, maybe the most impactful with her 2 goals.
Of course, and from a player that doesn't typically provide that for your team either. She's definitely filling her shoes and some tonight.
Closing 2.5 minutes for Stony Brook. Let's see if the Seawolves can add one more and end this tournament run on a nice spark after playing Penn State the last two NCAA tournaments. Get another taste of the Big Ten Conference tonight with Ohio State, the second-ranked team in the regular season.
You have to think whether they get another goal or not, if this game ends the way it is, that Stony Brook has to be, pleased with the effort that they put in and kind of the way that their players didn't give up. They're continuing to put Ohio State on the back foot in any chance they can.
There's a long ball for the Buckeyes in the closing minutes. Run towards the box and an excellent save. Second chance just misses. Emerson Burke saved a goal and almost another for Ohio State off the filthy footwork of Chloe DeLizer.
What a good save here. I mean, she was caught off her line and had to retreat quickly, and the adjustment of her footwork to be able to get there and make that save, that's pretty impressive.
This has been an onslaught of shots for Ohio State. 11 shots on target. Of course, the 5 goals, the most all season for the Buckeyes. And the most in tournament history for Ohio State soccer, which dates back to a rich tradition of 14 appearances. Final minute here in East Carolina. A busy day of NCAA first-round soccer that'll get revamped on the weekend. Saturday, 3 more matches here, all on ESPN3 right here in Greenville. Good dispossession by the Buckeyes. Kind of the story of this game. The size and physicality of Ohio State just a bit much for Stony Brook tonight. Stony Brook season will end at 6-4 overall. A great end of the year. 5 of the last 6 matches result in victories. But coming up short tonight against Ohio State, who earns a 8th victory. Moving on to the next round to take on Santa Clara this Saturday.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
A 5-goal onslaught for the Ohio State Buckeyes punches their ticket to the second round of the NCAA Soccer Championships as Lori Walker Hawks Club continues to march on as the Big Ten is undefeated in NCAA tournament play following tonight's 5-1 win over Stony Brook.
Well, I think we have an exciting day of games on Saturday now to look forward to.
Ohio State set to face Santa Clara coming up on Saturday as the Buckeyes poured on with 5 goals offensively. They came on set pieces. It came from the size of Bombic. And a crafty finisher, the 5th goal of the night, to close out the scoring for Ohio State. Offensive fireworks for the Ohio State Buckeyes tonight. A 5-1 victor moving on to the second round of the NCAA tournament. And Emily, what a firepower display from the Buckeyes. 4 goals in the first half. Here's your highlights of this matchup. Ohio State early and often with Alyssa Bombic.
Yeah, it was definitely an exciting game, an exciting first half, particularly offensively. I mean, the Buckeyes were relentless. They took advantage of their 1v1 situations out wide, and Bombic herself took advantage of finishing them.
Emma Sears made it 2-0. Then Rachel Florens, just 5'4", skies into the air for the header, and that's where Stony Brook had some momentum until right about now.
That didn't last for very long.
2 minutes later, Bombic with her 2nd goal of the contest, just her 3rd of the season, and Ohio State poured it on from there. This is Kitty Jones-Black, a little surprised on that goal as she got it through to make it 4-1. And in the second half down the stretch, Megan Cammerdiner got her head on this one. It snuck through as a team goal, credited to the senior, her 1st of the season. And that put Ohio State ahead for good. The celebration certainly wonderful as well to close out the night. For our hardworking crew, we thank you for joining us here from Greenville, North Carolina. Final stats, the Buckeyes, a 5-1 victory. Bombic with a huge effort in terms of converting in the box. And the Buckeyes will take on Santa Clara, the number 11 seed, this Saturday right here on ESPN3 on this very pitch. For Emily Busela, I am Evan Budrovich, thanking our hardworking crew on the production side as well. They were working their tails off all day long. The Buckeyes did much the same offensively. Emma Sears, so tough to stop. She was fantastic. The Buckeyes, much the same. You can watch this broadcast as a presentation of ESPN on the ESPN app. As for tonight, we sign off from East Carolina, Ohio State, a 5-1 winner.